This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Shaun. Welcome to today's edition of the Pitstop, where everything is a little slow this Monday. YouTube's slow, I'm slow, but we'll get through it one way or another. Happy Monday to everybody out there. Thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for being the pit crew and the guys who just are here to talk sim racing each and every day, and I do love that we get to talk about sim racing. I will, in full disclosure, I am a zombie right now. Friday, right after the Beyond the Sim show, I left for Willow Springs. Let's bring up a shot of Willow Springs. We're gonna talk more about this today. But yes, Friday, right after the show. I mean, literally 20 minutes after the show, I was on the road. An hour and a half late after that, I was at Willow Springs. And 35 minutes after that, I was in the car. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute here. But, yeah, so with that said, I was gone all weekend, didn't arrive home until midnight last night, and I am totally sunburnt, dehydrated, exhausted, and a lot of good feelings inside. That all sounded very negative, but I got to admit, I'm on cloud 9 at the same time. I just need to go get some more rest. But I am here. We have a show. We got to hang out, and this is a really funny period of time right now with last week going to this race. This week, I'm actually leaving. So just to remind you, I mentioned this on Friday. Billy and I are going to record Friday's Beyond the Sim show tomorrow morning. And the reason for that is Wednesday morning, I am leaving. I am flying to Charlotte, North Carolina, more accurately, Concord, Charlotte, North Carolina, home of NASCAR. I mean, this is where all the NASCAR teams are, a good portion of them. And I will be working with Hendrick Motorsports, doing some sim training for them. So that's going to be a very, very cool week. And I'm really looking forward to that. This is a personal thing. I won't be able to chronicle it because I'm actually a hired gun in this case. So very, very fun week, but it means there will be no show on Wednesday. And Friday's show is going to be pre-recorded. That means I do need your guys' help. I need the pit crew to get involved and help out. I need you guys to send in some questions. What would you like me and Billy to talk about for this Friday's show? And instead of it being a news-based show this week, it's going to be more of a community-based show. So anybody who does have thoughts of topics we should discuss, anybody who has questions you'd like to be ask of either me or Billy, please email me at Shaun, S-H-A-U-N, at thesimpit.com, and maybe your question or topic will make the show. That would be very cool. Me and my private jet life. Yeah, no, this one's not private. This one's going to be American Airlines, and it'll be a dreadful flight because it's all the way. Actually, I have a stopover in Phoenix. It's going to be a long travel. Wednesday is all-day travel, all day Thursday with Hendrick. Yeah, Wednesday, all-day travel Wednesday, work with Hendrick all day Thursday, and then fly home all day Friday. So that's why there'll be no Friday show. And it also means that I'm not going to be able to make the beginning of the truck series, which I'm very, very upset about because this Friday is the beginning of the truck series. 6-race schedule. And it's going to be a lot of fun on iRacing. I'll talk about that more at the end of the show. But if you're looking for some fun oval racing with a good group of guys, be sure to check us out on iRacing, the Simpit Truck Series, starting up this Friday. Still time to get involved. At Sky Harbor, can you get into the airport, Dave? I'm not sure. I only have like a 45-minute layover, but it'd be awesome to meet you for sure. That'd be great, Dave. So let me get through. Let's talk about Lucky Dog. Oh, I didn't bring up a graphic for Lucky Dog. So Friday, and forgive me, but I'm going to take a complete diversion from sim racing for a moment, and I'm going to be a little selfish. I'm going to talk about me, Shaun Cole. So I was involved in the Lucky Dog race at Willow Springs this weekend, and for those of you, most of you guys are pretty regular here, so you know what I'm talking about. I did a Lucky Dog race about a month and a half ago at Button Willow, not to be confused with Willow Springs. Very close in relation geographically. They're not that far apart, but completely different tracks. Willow Spring is known to be the fastest track in the West. It is a very fast track. It's a pretty simple layout, only 9 corners. Let's talk sims. What sims can you run Willow Springs? I believe there's a Willow Springs for R Factor. I believe there's a Willow Springs for one of the versions of Gran Turismo, but it's not in all of them. I'm not sure if it's even in GT Sport. Willow Springs. What other games? Where can we play Willow Springs? Raceroom, I believe, has Willow Springs. So when I talk about this, you want to get a shot. I mean, one of the great things about sim racing, quite honestly, is the fact that we get to do what we want in sim. You know, those combinations, those scenarios that we might not be able to do in real life, whether it be geographically. I mean, I can't run Spa tomorrow. There's a million reasons. The first one is it's way over there and I'm way over here. But in sim, we can do those combinations. We just have to find the right P-Cars. Thank you, Doug Hawley. P-Cars. We might have to do something with some Willow Springs for you guys to experience the race action. But this is one of the fastest tracks you're ever going to drive for a road course. It is fun. For a 9-corner track, it is a blast to drive. The track give you a layout. You come across start-finish line. Turn 1 is a very heavily cambered left-hander. Maybe a little bit of a elevation increase, so it's helping slow down the car. A lot of grip in that corner, and in the Volvo, let's see some other pictures here. In the Volvo, there are the Volvos. In this case, it was Volvas. We had 2 Volvos. You can see the 191 still up on the trailer. That car is the one I drove at Button Willow, and it was teal in color, and that's why it was the Aqua Volvo. And now it's become a black with gold stripe Volvo. And then the 192 you can see is actually a wagon version. It's still a 2 Series or 240 wagon. Very similar cars with Corvette wheels. Anybody spy that? Corvette wheels on a Volvo. Pretty funny. But anyway, in these cars, they're very slow, very under horsepowered. Maybe, oh gosh, they might be the slowest cars in the race in a straight line. That's not good at a place like Willow Springs. But in the case of these cars, they outhandled just about everybody on the track. It's amazing what this car can do, that 191, 192 car. So anyway, Willow Springs. Yeah, Streets of Willow. I've raced Streets of Willow in a go-kart, and I've raced Willow Springs kart track in a go-kart. I had never been on Big Willow, as they call it, or I will call it, ever. You know, I've seen it. I mean, I when you're at the kart track, you're looking up at the Big Willow. When you're at Streets of Willow, you're looking over here, and there's the main track. Anyway, so it was a really, really fun weekend. The track. So, you just kind of, in that car on a good line, you could just, war wagoned him. Yes, it is. It's actually, that's the car, the other one. That is literally the other car in Wreckfest. Not the war wagon, but the other one. Volvo, yes, they are safe, and they make really good racing, shaggin' wagon. Really good racing cars. So, anyway, back to the track. Turn 1, you just kind of lift, maybe a little hint of a brake. Flying off that corner really fast and into turn 2, which is this very long right-hander that has a huge amount of elevation gain. I could throw that car in at full throttle and never lift all the way around the corner. And I could go up to a BMW that would blow by me and gain 2, 3, 4 car lengths on them. I could go by Miatas. I could drive around Miatas on this corner. I did. The Hammerhead. Thank you, Tim. What was I getting at? I had a GoPro in the car. And unfortunately, it's still in the car. So I'm going to do my best to try to get that and be able to show you. I think I have my stint from Sunday from start to finish, I believe, on that GoPro. I also have another moment on that GoPro that I'm going to talk about in a minute. Sorry, I am all over the place here. Sorry, I told you I was mush. It's going to be a long show, and I'm tired. That's kind of an interesting combination. Anyway, long uphill right-hander, and then you go into turn 3, which is a very sharp uphill left that really lifts the rear end of the car. And I actually spun in qualifying right there on my second lap. And in all honesty, don't have that on the GoPro, I don't believe. No, I don't. I'll tell you why. Anyway, you know what? I'm giving you guys the long version. And what I really need to do is wrap this up and give you the short version, because what I want to do is chronicle the whole thing in a decent little story. So let me, turn 3 is an uphill, turn 4 is a right-hander, and then another right-hander for turn 5, and you're going down the hill. And then it's a left, and then it's downhill, and then turn 8 is this very long, ridiculously long, incredibly fun, long right-hander at full throttle until you have to pinch it at the very end for turn 9, and that's what turns onto the front stretch. And anybody who's driven it in a sim, very, very, I mean, I can tell you, I can testify that it drives like it drives in the sim. You really need to pinch it in, and if you don't, you'll go off into the dirt, and it is because you are going so fast. I mean, this is a corner, you might be doing 80, 70, 80 miles an hour through the corner. I mean, in a Volvo. And you just got to pinch it at the end, and you are full throttle onto the front stretch. It's just really fun track to drive. I had a blast. So as the story goes, Friday I got there and I was able to take the car out on track. Now, think about real life. You're at the race. That's your only, or you have a car. You cannot hurt that car in practice. I mean, you are there for a race, a 2-day race. You cannot hurt the car just learning the track and practicing. We're not a real NASCAR team. We don't have a backup car. Our spares are limited, and that wasn't a backup car. We had 8 drivers for the event, and we had 2 cars, so we were going to kind of split the teams and kind of bounce things around. Stuart, it's a total DIY thing. I don't know the name of the ones that are being sold, but I mean, it's like you are seat belts, which come with connectors, and springs. I mean, that's all you need essentially, and anything you do beyond that is just fancier. But I would highly recommend a DIY version. The less headache. Good, Devin. I'm glad I'm helping in that. All right, well, if you guys are enjoying, we can go on. But again, I am going to do a little more detailed version because I don't have a lot of content to go with this one other than showing you the cars. Well, I don't even remember what the next image. Oh. Let the cat out of the bag. That didn't look good, did it? The other thing I want to point out is, let's go back to the news real quick. I did, if you want to see some of the reporting I did, so to speak, from the event, here's a picture of, this is the Simpit Facebook page. There are the Volvos being prepped. That's Friday. So anyway, Friday practice, I get out there. I did about 6 laps, and honestly, I brought it in. Maybe on the 7th lap, I came in. It's like, okay, I got the layout. I haven't maximized my lap times, but I have a very solid basis for how I want to go out, and I didn't put a scratch on the car. I didn't wear anything. I didn't lock up any brakes. Everything was pretty cool. Anyway, David, that's a great question. Did the 2 cars handle similarly? No, they did not. I have some funny pictures from this one. Yes, I was a little gangster. I'm a little weird at races. I'm not my normal self because I get into this like racer grunge mode mentality. So anyway, Friday I did my practice, felt good, and I brought the car in because I didn't want to hurt the car. Friday night, we just prepped the car. Friday night, you sleep, do whatever you're going to do. In my case, I wish I had shots of this. I just don't have good enough shots of this. But I camped out of my car. I did it once again. If you saw the last race, I did a little wake-up video from inside. This time, I've already done that, been there, done that, so I can give you that video. But I was camping out, and so I went to bed Friday night, watched some movies in my car, cooked up some dinner. I think, I don't know if I have a shot of my dinner. Yeah, I think I do somewhere. What's this? Yeah, that's me. And now it was a little cold. Oh, wait, I do think I have my setup here. So this is race day. Yeah, here we go. I do. So if you can see these videos for yourself at the Simpit on Facebook, and I'm sorry that some of them are a little choppy, but I'm in the middle of nowhere. I literally am in the middle of nowhere. And I know this is the weirdest story because I'm all over the place, but there is the Simpit War Wagon, and where I camped out, had blacked out windows, had my sleeping bag. I had like this much padding under me, and that car opens up to quite a bit. Yeah, look, I'm giving you the full tour. I forgot I even did this. That's my new power supply. That thing ran all of my devices for the entire weekend. Anyway, some cool videos there. You can check those out to kind of enhance this story that I'm telling you now. This is qualifying underway. This video is a little worth watching. I'm gonna follow my own sword here. I don't know if that's the wording. I'm gonna admit to something very bad. Anyway, in this video, No, it's the race start video that happens. But here are our guys qualifying. What we did in qualifying was we just gave everybody a shot to go out and do 4 laps. And I'll play the video while I tell this portion. So we gave everybody a shot to go do 4 laps to get warmed up for the morning. And then on top of that, post a lap time for the start of the race. Demonetized for showing. Yeah, I don't have my own permission. I'm going to have to send something in. Anyway, in qualifying, I spun on my first timed lap. And then I laid down a pretty good lap time on the second one. My lap time is the one that qualified our car. But then it's sort of funny. They don't really care. So when it comes to gridding up, it was a mad dash to get on the line. Anyway, this video here, the race going green, about 8 minutes into it, there's a funny moment that I'm not going to play. Anyway, I fell out of a bleacher. It was fell on the bleachers and dropped that camera you just saw. Anyway, there's some cool videos. So the race went green. It's a rolling start 2x2, and I do have that on this video. You do get to see the cars rolling out. Just notice that my videos are all flipped over. Very weird. I don't know why that's happening. Hold on. Where's the start? There goes the car. Pretty big grid of cars. There was, I don't know, 50 cars maybe? I didn't count, but there are a lot of cars. This video is backward, and it's totally throwing me off. All right, back to the show. I'm so sorry, people. I'm just a mess. I'm mush. My brain is worthless today. So cool videos at the Simpit on Facebook. There's my funky hat. Like I said, I get in a totally different headset when it comes to being at the racetrack. I don't care what I look like when I'm at the racetrack. Oh, you saw that, Tim? Yeah, I fell live. It was terrible. Yeah, you know what? That was part of it. Some of the people are going to hotels, but to me, I want to sleep at the track. I want to be there. That's what it's all about. That's track, I mean, a lot of the pros back in the day slept at the track, before it became quite the jet-setting thing that it is today. Okay, so the race went green, and I was the second driver, and there was a funny moment when we had 2 cars, so we had somebody had asked the handling of the car, and I totally forgot about it. No, Car Heroes, I did not set the best lap time. I have to admit, I did not. Car Heroes, you haven't missed anything, by the way, because we have just talked about me. Car handling. The little sedan was twitchier, much quicker turning, much twitchier. It was a much more active car, and in some ways, that was better. The wagon, both cars have a welded diff, so there's no differential in these cars, which means the inside tire will sometimes start jumping. The little car avoided the jumping a little better, or hopping, I should say, than the sedan. Now, the sedan, for me, seemed to reward smooth driving. So on Saturday, when I got my stint, I was a little nervous, and I was driving a little tense, a little tight, a little too twitchy, a little too stabby on the brake, because I was just a little nervous. On Sunday, and that was in the sedan. Now, so I'm giving you the long version. I want to do a recap. So I'm going to I'm going to speed things up here. So Friday, everything went great, and we were doing well. We were basically always in last position, essentially, of the cars running. So if somebody would drop out or break, we would get ahead of them. But this is a really fast car. This is a really fast track. We're in a really slow car. And we have a variety of different driver talents. So I get in the car second. I put out my stint and clawed our way a little bit further than we were. And then by the end of the day, the 2 cars were actually within 53 seconds of each other. And I was in the 191 on Saturday. And we were watching the clock, and it was so great. It was just like real life, just like what we do in sim racing as well. We're sitting there looking at the clock. looking at how long is left in the event. There's an hour and a half left. They're 53 seconds behind us, and they're gaining on us by 2 or 3 seconds a lap because they had their fastest driver against our slowest driver, and they are clawing their way back, and we were watching the clock to see if they'd be able to pass us, and this is like for the last running position. And with 5 minutes to go, the 191 car severed its spindle. That is a severed left front spindle. This track brutalizes the left tires and left suspension, everything on the left side, and it severed it. And the car went off track, and you can see the wheel there is just completely cockeyed. And that was the end of our day, and unfortunately, the end of the 191 car. Now, to give you an idea of the way people are at Lucky Dog or Chump Car or Lemons, the calls went out. Gavin, who owns the Volvos, is obviously in Volvo forums and things like that, and just like we do here in the sim racing world, he turned to the forums. Hey, anyone in this region know where we can get? Because this is not the kind of thing they had a spare of. And they actually found on Sunday morning an upright with a spindle, and somebody drove an hour and a half to go get it, and an hour and a half back, and the car was being repaired with every attempt to possibly get it back on the track for Sunday. But in the end, what we did was we put all the drivers, all 8 of us, just kind of shared. Actually, we were down to 7 who wanted to drive. Everybody did a stint, and that was going to get us through Sunday. So Sunday, I actually started the race 2x2, or 2 wide, rolling start. Pace car pulls in, drop of the green, the whole deal, and did very well. On Sunday, I actually started passing a bunch of cars that just, I was carrying so much speed that here's the way it would be. I'd be up against a Miata, and I'd come off at turn 9 on their ass and swing around them and pull all the way till we're equal. And just at that point, I would be out of horsepower, and the Miata would just kind of pull away. And then turn 1 would come, and I would watch him hit the brakes, and I'm like, man, why are you on the brakes so early? Because I wouldn't touch it until the last second. And then by turn 1, I'm on his ass. But turn 2, he'd be in the middle and not enough room to go in or out, even though I have the power to just drive all the way around him. Anyway, Sunday was incredible. I passed all sorts of cars, was driving like a monster, and had a really good run, and then handed the car over. And that was pretty much the end of my racing. In the end, I think we finished 24th. We never got the 191 back. It turned out the spindle was right, but our bearings were wrong, and it just wasn't going to happen in time to even turn another lap. So we basically finished in about 24th place overall. A lot of cars died on Sunday. It was a really brutal. We watched a BMW do the exact same thing to their left rear spindle. The track was beating, these are not race cars. Some of those top Beamers and some of those top Mazdas are race cars. But for the most part, the spirit of the game here is not a street. It's your mom's Volvo with a roll bar in it. That's the spirit of the Lucky Dog and Lemons and Chump Car. Anyway, so of regular cars running at race pace for 14 hours, this happens. That's all. So we finished 24th and had just a great weekend. I had so much fun. It cost me a lot of money. We all judge money at a different level. We have that discussion about whether a direct drive wheel is worth it. I spent about the cost of an AccuForce wheel this weekend to do this. That's about the economics on it. But man, did I have fun. So, and then I ended up getting home at midnight. I'm dehydrated. I'm sunburnt. I'm exhausted. I'm sore. That's the other thing. Even if it's a Volvo with 130 horsepower, my back hurts. My legs hurt. My arms feel pretty good, but everything else is pretty sore on me, and I'm exhausted. So that is the whole story. That is how things played out. I will do a little bit, I guess I've kind of given you guys the recap, but maybe I'll do one that's a little more focused since I was all over the place for this one. So anyway, that is it. It was great. You guys are sick. You guys are sick out there. I see some of your comments in the chat. Volvo jokes across. Yeah, well, it's not cheap. And here's the best news. I don't even want to say it because I don't want to jinx it. This Max, it was me. It was me. Come here. Come here. Max. It was this. Come here. Stupid. You should call that dog shithead. Hey. Hey. All right. On with the show. I think I've secured a ride for Laguna in August. So right now it is looking like I am going to be driving in a Lotus, the Chotus, a Lotus Elite with a Chevy motor and a Crown Vic front end and a Jaguar rear end and a Frankenstein of a car, but a fixture of Lucky Dog and Lemons, and I will be running that car at Laguna. I got the invite, so as long as the car survives, where are they going? Thunder? No, Something Ridge. Come on, Shaun. Something Ridge is the next race, which I'm not going to. But Laguna, I am. So just hope they keep that car together. Anyway, okay, that's the end of that story. Let's move on to the sim racing. Thank you for tolerating that. If you're not totally into my life and my story, I appreciate you waiting around and continuing with the show. But now we will move on to the sim racing news that is out there. No, we will not put a 240Z in this kind of racing. Oh yeah, what's funny is even if you're talking about an older BMW, it's not the car's chassis that is expensive in doing this. In fact, most of the cars out there were pretty much beaters. I mean, there's like an old Celica that, I doubt you would even be able to, what would that cost you? Like a really old Celica. There are a couple old Camaros, some old Mustangs, some old beater BMWs and Miatas. They were not, the top 5 cars were pretty much like race ready for SSCA or any other form of spec-ish type racing. And I say spec because it's, it's still a street car. Actually, I removed the word spec. They're not spec, but no, I mean like a spec Miata. Some of these were like spec Miatas, which is not really a Lemons car. A Lemons car would be taking a junker Miata and turning it into a wannabe race car. Just throw a roll bar in it, a real roll bar, and some other racing equipment and strip it down. That's about it. Put some fat tires and get the motor running as good as you can. Yeah, that's the beauty, Charles. And when I do the real story, my angle on this is when I think about, like, let's just say, and I think it's fair to have this conversation. We're all sim racers, and we're sim racers because we'd love to and like to go race a real car. So this is one of the cheapest forms of racing, and more importantly than the come on, Shaun. More importantly than the inexpensive aspect is the fact that you get so much track time. I mean, in this weekend, I drove 2.5 hours. That is a lot of track time. I mean, think about any form of racing you do. I mean, you usually are only going to get, maybe even with practice and qualifying and everything. I mean, I think back to karting days. It's like, yeah, so what was the total track time? Practice, qualifying, and the race or races. Maybe an hour. I mean, maybe. I don't even think it was actually that much. I mean, it might have been a total of an hour of track time. I drove 2.5 hours under green flag racing conditions, and I drove an additional 30 minutes of practice. So it was a tremendous amount of track time. So that's what makes it so awesome. The other thing is, last time I punted, Joe, that's pretty funny. Joe is saying the The real life racers at Lemons or Lucky, that's another Lucky Dog, can go look at my videos of me racing at Laguna and watch me punting Moses and the corkscrew. Very funny. Anyway, if I were to go buy a car, that's just the first step. I got to haul it. I got maintenance. I got a lot of work. Things break. You need a crew. When you race in this kind of a series, you have to have a crew. It's endurance racing, so you need 3-4 drivers. So you already have a team just by that. So if you have the ability to house the car, you have 3 or 4 friends who would race, you know, you're a few $1,000s. I mean, you could probably get a car on that track for $5,000, but it would cost about $5,000. I mean, if you were to be given a junky Miata, it would cost you $5,000 to get new rims, wide enough tires, race type brakes, you know, at least brake pads, get the thing running great, roll bars. It has to be a pro roll bar. Those are not cheap. So yeah, it would cost a little bit of money, $5,000 minimum, and the entry fee ends up being about $300 per driver, and then a little more for the car itself. And then you've got all the gas and tires for the weekend. I mean, we went through a lot of gas. We were burning 10 gallons every hour and a half. Maybe, no, it's more like 12 gallons every hour and a half. Do that, multiply that by 14 hours. That's a lot of gas. A lot of gas. Anyway, okay, on with the show. Sorry, we're already at 9:30. I haven't even talked one word of sim racing, and we should get this going along. But I'll try to do a recap. Like, I haven't told you the entire story at this point, but I do highly recommend it. And if you don't have friends and you don't have the way to keep the car, store the car, or work on the car, or transport the car, I'll tell you what, if you get involved in these communities, there are ways to find rides. You can rent rides. You can pitch in with a team and volunteer to help and let them know, hey, can I come help you out? I just want to earn my way onto your team. I'm willing to pay. You know, I mean, those kind of conversations will go a long way if you go to like your local version of this, because these things happen all over the country too. All over the world in various different forms. So it might be one of the most approachable forms of racing as well. All right. Befuddled. All right, on with the news. Assetto Corsa Competizione. They have some preview shots that came out from the weekend, you know, because they have another one of their events. You know, here, is today like a weird internet day? Is anybody else having just a weird internet day? Because for me, it wasn't me, it was YouTube. And now I'm wondering, is this me or is this Twitter? There we go. Having an issue. I think it was Twitter having an issue. My stream quality is all green. I'm showing no loss of frame, so everything looks good on Shaun's end. Anyway, some screenshots. These are beautiful. This is, let's give credit where credit is due. That is a wonderful photo right there. And this is Assetto Corsa Competizione in wintertime weather at Brands Hatch, UK. And I just happen to think this is amazing. It's beautiful. Well, and the thing, DJ, yes, track days are also expensive. Maybe a little less expensive than even a Lemons or Chump Car race or Lucky Dog. But you're not racing in a track day. You're lapping. And sure, you might get in a little bit of a side-by-side with people at times. But it's not a race. It's just a track day. And bad wording. I didn't mean just a track day. Oh, you're still seeing the spindle. I'm sorry. Of course you are. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the heads up there. There we go. The beautiful Brands Hatch. How do you like that? Paid the $10 entry and then worked tech and good to go for the day. Yep. Thank you. Yep. I'm leaving the photo up and checking in when your guys' comments in order to be so you can see this beautiful photo of Brands Hatch. A couple more. Here's one from in the car with the Lamborghini up ahead. And look at the lighting. I love the lighting here. That is beautiful. Now, I wouldn't go as far as to call it photorealistic as much as it looks like an amazing painting to me is what it really looks like. The spindle looks so lifelike. The spindle is not a sim. And yeah, car repair is going to be an ongoing expense. 1 lap at Nordschleife is 30 euros. Well, and that's almost 2.5 hours, Leonad. Leonad. Anyway, some really cool photos of Competizione, and showing off not only some of the amazing lighting, but it's also, that was Massachusetts calling. That's interesting. Showing off the weather effects as well. And again, like I said, let's give credit where credit is due. This is looking really beautiful. Interesting they show the Gran Turismo logo sponsored car right there at the front. I like that. Anyway, some great shots of that, and that is coming from Assetto Corsa May 29th. That is coming very quickly. It's already May 6th, so just a matter of a couple of weeks, and we'll be getting our first look at the real, full release version of Assetto Corsa Competizione. Let's see here. Oh, Assetto also, now this goes back to the original. This is Assetto Corsa, not Competizione, but this is none other than Emerson Fittipaldi driving his Lotus 72 in Assetto Corsa. They say it's pretty indescribable. We're pretty overwhelmed. You know what? I agree with them 100%. I would be a little bit overwhelmed to watch Emerson sit in his actual simulated car and drive. And look at him, driving it like a man, huh? Look at him using that H-pattern shifter. Emerson Fittipaldi driving Assetto Corsa. Very, very cool. Congratulations to them for getting that. Gotta love it. I actually have a painting in my house. It's a lithograph, but a tribute to Emo, and it's him with his hand winning the Indy 500. New update to mobile racing version of F1 2019, adding 2019 season, or 2000. I guess this is just F1 mobile racing, but now they're adding 2019 season content. So if you think about it, the mobile version is now ahead of the PC, Xbox, and PlayStation versions. They already have the 2019 season. What about us? But anyway, if you play the F1 mobile, there's an update that gets you that. Couple things with Dirt. Number one, they're showing off the Rally Germany. We've talked about that coming out later this month. We've mentioned that a few times. And the other thing that they mention is the daily challenge. So today's special. This is yesterday, so I'm not sure if it's still going. That was 2 days ago. Today's daily challenge lets you compete in Monte Carlo, even if you've not purchased it yet. Just fire up Dirt Rally 2 today and try before you buy. I'm not sure if that was a one-day thing, and if it was, I wonder if any of you guys tried it out. I didn't know. I wish I could have told you more in advance if it was only a one-day thing. Also, they have a first look video that came out on the 3rd. When was the 3rd? That was 3 days ago. I don't think we talked about that, or did we? We might have talked about that on Friday's show. Was that the 3rd? 5th, 4th? Yeah, that was the 3rd. I think maybe me and Billy talked about that. Sorry, you guys. Like I said, I'm mush. I should stop apologizing. I should just have a disclaimer that comes up and says, Shaun is a bit tired and out of sorts today. Wheel is wrong, but it's emo. Yes, that looked like a 2.5, Brandon. Okay, sorry, I was just reading some of your guys' comments. What else do I have to talk about today? 5 hours ago. This is it. Your final chance to qualify for this year's F1 Esports Series. So you guys still have a matter of hours, I guess. Maybe you should get out there. Why are you watching the show? You should be out there trying to qualify for this year's F1 Esports Series. Last chance qualifier now underway. PC Gamer talking about, I think I've mentioned this before, but this is cool, and they're actually saying this is consistently one of their most requested features, but for their career mode to include the F2 series. So the version, I know we've talked about this. I think me and Billy talked about this too. But there will be F2 content, and it will be part of the career mode. And, get back to the original. Do you remember the original line for Formula 1 2011? What was the first year? No, 2011. What What was the word? What was their little line? There was the line that went with the game, and they've gone away from it and kind of come back to it, and gone away from it and come back to it. Living the life. Remember that? Remember the original? You had media questions and answers, and they were going to supposedly affect your career and what teams had interest in you and things like that. They said that F2 is not the full season. Isn't that a shame? Oh, because you're going to be brilliant, and they're going to pick you up after a matter of just 4 races. They had their eye on you, and you were really showing signs of what you could do. Anyway, but PC Gamer talking about that. What else? Oh, this is cool. Simracers.es just kind of grabbed like all of the different gameplay videos that are out there. They've been playing various different videos showing it off. So here's some videos. So this is sort of your one-stop shopping for all of the gameplay videos out there. But Daniel Ricciardo doing some laps at Bahrain. You've got Kivat at Baku. We've got George Russell at Baku. We've got Lando Norris at Bahrain. So a bunch of different videos showing off. We've seen some of the screenshots of the cars and all of that. Viking Elite getting in. Keep it. Oh, let's put that. There we go. Thank you very much, Jesse, and happy birthday to Doug. All right, everyone. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Doug. Happy birthday to you. There you go, Doug. Doug's my buddy. I don't mind singing. I have a friend that I've been friends with since I was 15, and we call each other, and that's part of the shame of being a friend for that long is you have to sing happy birthday like loud and proud. You can't just sissy it or happy birthday. No. You gotta put a little something on it, you know. All right, moving right along. What else do we have to talk about? Raceroom had some events going on over the weekend, I do believe. The GT Master Esport Championship happened. This was a big deal. The Tuning World Bodency. We're going to have to put the... Wait a minute. Did I just go back? How the F did I do that? I did it again. Hold on. Did you guys see the videos, or did I totally do it again, or did I just do that? Not sure about copyright. Did I just demonetize my stream by singing that? In case I did, I'm going to go back in time. We had the last chance qualifier. I think all this was up. You guys talked about the F2 career. We had the gameplay videos there at simracer.es, and now we are caught up with things. But tuning... Oh, that's when I did it. It was the disclaimer button. Tuning World Bodency, the ADAC GT Masters event. This is a big deal. This is a very big deal, and some shots here of Raceroom. Williams Esport was like, they sent 2 teams. Williams Esport sent 2 teams, but that wasn't enough because it was Euronics Gaming who won the event. Williams Esport taking second. Williams Esport 2 taking up 3rd spot. So those are the podium teams from this event. Let's get the shot. That Jack Keatley? That's Jack. That's Jack Keatley right there. Who else do we recognize? I should know more of these faces, but why am I not? Oh, I know you. What's your name? I know you. Loner. I can see it on his shirt. Matt Loner? Isn't it Matt? And anyway, these are the winners from that event. Sorry, you guys. I made a mess of that one. What else? Also went on over the weekend. ACR Avid Chronic Racing, Abruzzi sponsored the Abruzzi sponsored ACR race team had participated in the ETC, the Endurance Team Challenge, and it was Richard Schaefer, Adam Pinces, and Risto Caput who what'd you guys P1? Yeah, sorry. Man, I am a mess. God, I need a nap. I already need a nap. You're welcome, Jesse. Thank you. And Tim Heineman won. That's right. They're giving away the motion rig. Tim Heineman won the rig. Thank you very much, Laynad. sing it backwards to remonetize. No, that is the last time you'll ever hear singing on this show. I can promise you that. Anyway, congratulations to those guys. I've talked to these guys. I know these guys. We know these guys. Remember Risto? He was the guy we did that 4-man interview with those guys, and he was so quiet in the beginning, and then he just like opened up. Bruce, if you don't know them, they make footwear and gloves and things like that, and custom-made stuff, and we're working on getting some Simpit ones so we can show them to you on the show. Forza Weekend Review 5319 by Brian Eckberg, goes by Meckberg, telling you about all the things going on in Forza. Ooh, that's a cool paint job right there. Beautiful shots there. Talking about some hoppers, leagues, things like that going on. Look at that. That's a beauty. IndyCar. They'll be joined by their special car guests. So they have this going on this here on Tuesday, tomorrow. IndyCar driver and team ambassador Lazarus Esport Team Connor Daly will be talking about his busy month of May, which will include the 103rd running of the Indy 500. So that's going to be going on the Forza streaming channels and things. Video at Gran Turismo, talking about Igor Fraga racing at Paul Ricard. This guy is the latest sim racing turned real racing phenom. And I love when sim racers turn heads in real life. When they get out there and they hold their own. They represent sim racing oh so well. Igor Fraga is an interesting case, though. You can't just claim he's a sim racer only. This guy is a real-life racer, a sim racer, who now is working on his next venture and doing very, very well. So congratulations to one of our sim heroes, Igor Fraga. And we're getting some shots of his car. Probably we've already lost the monetization, right? It's gone. We did that. We sung Happy Birthday and lost everything. Nap time. Yes, I'm going to be streaming today's nap starting in about an hour after this show ends. I think I'm going to end this show, go eat a bunch of food, and then pass out. I think that's the... Yes, Car Heroes. We're going to do a shout-out to those guys for sure. Shout-out to the Simpit, Rick Motek Simpit Endurance Racing Team, who had a big event over the weekend as well, which I would have loved to have taken part of, and I couldn't. So what else do I have to talk about? Hotlap videos. So this is Adam Suswillow. Adam Suswillow doing a hot lap of Autodromo. I might as well leave this up. Lago Maggiore GP Racing Medium in the Audi R18 2016 model. So if you want, I just like showing hot laps when they give us a hot lap and it's by a just, well, here in this case, a Williams eSport level driver. I mean, whether it's a Rudy Van Buren or Lando Norris, these hot laps that we see, especially if they're in your favorite sim. This is Gran Turismo. So if you play a lot of Gran Turismo and you want to, you are getting tips from the best. I mean, just to put this in perspective, people. What if you played soccer? No, what if you played football and, Aaron Rodgers was willing to come show you how to throw a football better? I mean, can you imagine getting, a name your favorite pro or whatever? It doesn't even matter who they are, but can you imagine having a real-life pro come give you a few tips to help you with your game, regardless of what the sport is? And in the case of sim racing, the version of us getting that comes through these. Being able to see somebody the caliber of Suswillow, of Williams eSport. I mean, if you're on one of these pro eSport teams at this point, you are it's not even the 1%. It's like the 0.5% of the sim racing world. And this is the equivalent to name your favorite, player in any sport and having him give you a few tips. So whenever I show these hot laps, that's exactly what's going through my mind. Like, if you wanted to be the best, you're going to emulate the best. You're going to learn from the best. You're going to even hire a coach, Anyway, all right, moving right along. 704 Games NASCAR Heat earmuffs. Here are the finalists for the NASCAR Heat World Challenge. So this they posted 2 days ago, and now you know. Hendrick. I was hoping this is going to be another one of those driver profiles so you could learn a little bit about their esport drivers for the Xbox and the PlayStation version of NASCAR Heat. But as it turns out, it's just talking about Hendrick Motorsports starting an esport gaming club and leading the way with their two drivers kind of things. And so anyway, a little story. And honestly, the only reason I put this up was a reminder to tell you guys that there will be no show on Wednesday. And Friday's show will be pre-recorded. So Beyond the Sim this Friday is going to be pre-recorded tomorrow by me and Billy Strange, and maybe a returning star of the show, maybe, to be named tomorrow if it really happens. But we will be doing that show. Since it's recorded in advance, we're not going to have news, which means if there are things you'd like to hear us talk about, if you want to hear me and Billy talk about various things, send me those topics. If you have questions of me or Billy, send me those questions at Shaun, SHAUN, at thesimpit.com, and maybe your question or topic will be brought up on Friday's show recorded tomorrow. So you got to send me those emails today. Anyway, and the reason Hendrick, again, I am getting on a flight and I'm flying to Hendrick Motorsports in North Carolina, and I leave Wednesday, so there will be no show on Wednesday morning. I'm just, again, reminding you guys that this is the only Simpit this week. One moment. This is in regards to the show. Oh. Thank you, Jesse. I just got yours. That's what that was. Oh, that was Massachusetts. Sorry, Jesse. Now everyone knows where you live. Spindle. Oh, Izzy did something on Discord. I am missing something there, Brandon. Izzy, thank you, Izzy. Not sure what you did, but Brandon just sent me a note and somehow I missed it. But like I said, it's not my internet. It seems like the whole internet is being weird today. To your creation. I'm not seeing it. Bear with me, people. I'm trying to get it together here. Oh my God. I'm going to put this up. This just came in from Izzy. You guys who hang out with Gamer Muscle know Izzy very well. You guys ever have tracks that you just hate? Well, I've never been a big fan of Silverstone, so Izzy took my gangster look from the racetrack and combined it with this very, very cool image. Thank you, Izzy. I totally missed that. Thank you for getting me that, Brandon. That is priceless. Thank you. I'm going to send that to everybody I know. I love it. I love it. You guys are awesome. I love the pit crew. You guys are just the best. So, let's see. Where were we? On the world's slowest, longest show. Specials, a few different specials. This seemed like a pretty good deal. It was sent in. I thought you guys might want to know. Acer ED273, that's their 27-inch curved, full HD 4 millisecond, 144 hertz widescreen LCD LED G-Sync compatible gaming monitor, $239. I think that sounds like a good deal. I'm not sure if that would be my top pick for a monitor right now, though. So Izzy's the king. Yeah, that is one of the better ones in a long while. One of these days, I think I'm gonna just play all. I've saved, probably 9 out of 10. I hope I've got all of them, but I wouldn't be surprised. There have been a lot of very funny photoshops done of me, and I should show them all one day. All right, what else? What else to talk about? Other deal. So all the hype going to Assetto Corsa Competizione now, and rightfully so. Just like, when the new phone comes out, last year's phone gets a little bit less expensive, right? Same thing happens in software. Well, Assetto Corsa Competizione is going to come out with what people are going to immediately point fingers and say lacking in content. Not enough cars, not enough tracks. It is a completely predictable and somewhat justified response to Competizione when it does come out. And we can argue that point all day long. But with that coming out, it means that you can now get Assetto Corsa. Now, think about Assetto Corsa. It's been in development forever. There are a million third-party apps, mods to the sim, whether it be cars, tracks, things to enhance the sim, make it better, all sorts of different effects, all sorts of things that have enhanced this game because it's had so many years for outside development to occur. Well, now on Humble, you can get it for $9.99. In addition to that, they're selling all the Dream Packs, so Dream Pack 1, 2, and 3. All the DLC that was available is also on sale right now. So, $349, $149 for the Japanese pack. Looks like some other sims as well. So, if you're looking for a sim, $44.99 for Competizione. That's not much of a deal. But a lot of sims are on sale through Humble if you're looking for a deal and more entertainment. I didn't really get a chance to read this story, but it was sent in, and I'm fascinated at how much Malaysia, for how small Malaysia is, Malaysia loves racing. Malaysia loves sim racing. And so here they're talking about the first e-racing Grand Prix SEA in June coming up, and all sorts of groups and money and things going behind it. So that's very cool, and keep your eyes on that little area. Shaun Cole as Bruce Willis in Unbreakable. I get that a lot. I don't see the resemblance. I don't feel like I look like Bruce Willis, but I'll take that. I'll take that as a more flattering version of people that I've been compared to. Right up at Worth Playing, talking about dangerous driving, a game that intrigues me. And they're going to have some updates and things. You can get the full story, and I'm going to just kind of move along a little bit. I'm kind of some tidbits to go over, and then we'll bring this one to a close. The longest, slowest Simpit ever. Sorry, I'm clicking around here. If you're looking for entertainment, Race Spot TV, talking about the different broadcasts that they have coming up this month. So you guys, if you're looking for entertainment and you're sitting at work and you don't want to work, or you want to look at something out of the corner of your eye, check out Race Spot with their upcoming broadcast schedule for some sim racing entertainment, sim racing hardware news and reviews blog, showing off a really cool idea. This is the Extreme Sim Racing XXT, and it's actually a collapsible or foldable cockpit. So here's a shot of it there. All folded up, a full rig. Well, that's a pull-up chair version there. But yeah, anyway, they're talking about a fold-up and collapsible rig. You can check that out. I thought it was a good-looking design. And yes, please give us a thumbs up. Thank you, Kimber. So great to have Kimber back in the audience, reminding people to thumbs up, subscribe, tell a friend, do all those things to help us grow. Thank you, Kimber. Driver's experience. I tried this game. No, I looked at it. I didn't even try it at CES a couple years ago. And it's like one of these real-life driving simulators. But they've come a long way looking at this video using VR. But it's teaching you real-life driving. So this is now a sim. Look, never pass a vehicle, stopped at a crosswalk. Someone could be crossing. So it's showing how kind of the theory of what we've been doing for so long, but using sim racing, as a true driving tool. And this is not like those simulators that when I was a kid. DMV actually had simulators when I was a kid. So when I was 15 years old, I drove the DMV simulators, and they were really terrible. Really terrible. But again, that was like 1942. So anyway, here's just showing off Street Smart with their VR. It's about learning to drive. It's about driving safe. It's a driving safety simulator using VR and sim racing. Another use of VR going on, and this really doesn't apply to us so much, but just showing you what they're doing with it. Logotronics Projects creates educational VR experience for the World Pavilion, and it's showing off, I believe, Ghana, and it's showing off the culture and the religion of Ghana. And through this VR experience that they're doing. And look, they're in a simulated boat. Look at, they're in a boat, watching a boat. That could be kind of cool. Speaking of VR and how it's being used and overlapping what we're doing, steampunk VR scooters are virtual bumper cars with real-world jolt. How fun would that be? I think it would be kind of fun to throw on a VR unit and play some video game looking version of what you're doing in reality, so that when you hit your opponent, which I'm assuming you see them in VR in some avatar form, when you see the collision, you're going to feel the jolt. That right there could be a very, very cool concept. We've seen it in like karting type scenarios. Now we're seeing it in bumper car. There's Wreckfest, huh? There's your Wreckfest ready to happen. I wonder what they do. I wonder if it's like the Demolition Derby in Wreckfest. I mean, you couldn't be driving a track because you'd need to go lengths of distances before you turned. But that could be kind of cool. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the future brings. We talk about VR. And we talk about what is going to make VR go to that next level. What is the holdback on VR preventing it from being more mainstream? Software, hardware, the acceptance by culture. These are all factors. But when we see it in more mainstream scenarios, like you certainly, whether you've done it or not, seen them on roller coasters, I sure have. But those next level things are going to be, here we go. See the giant smiles on people's faces? Hold on. There we go. See all the unused bumper cars? All right, that looks weenie as hell. That looks terrible. But I could see a updated, better, enhanced version of that could be really something. So these are the things that can also affect VR and its future. The way it's used in real life, and let's face it, people's first-time experiences could leave a lasting mark, good or bad. If the first and only time you ever tried VR, it was in a bumper car, and it made you sick, would you ever try VR again? Eruditz, is that part of that Zwift? Is that part of Zwift, or is that separate? Oh, it's the VR version of last year's Tour de France game. Is that what you're talking about? That would be kind of cool. I want to get a Zwift, if anybody knows what that is. I really, really wish I had the money to buy the full-blown Zwift. That would be kind of fun and cool. Another version of sim racing being used outside of what we do with it. But here is the Mitsubishi L200 eSport concept as a gamer's ideal vehicle for the zombie apocalypse. And here you can see what looks like 2 GT Omegas installed inside of this very unusual and extended out truck that is going to obviously be going from place to place, showing off the truck, but using sim racing as the tool. What's funny is, look, they're in like Lancers. That's a Mitsubishi Lancer. That is also a Mitsubishi Lancer, and they're inside of this Mitsubishi truck. It's at least still in the family. Cool looking truck. You know, you saw me camping. Little fans right there in the window. This would be really, I don't need all these fancy speakers and things. I don't need a sim chassis in the back. But a truck like that looks like it could be really, really cool for if you camp at your racetracks when you're going there. Yeah, the room scale stuff is a little weird, right? Sure, unless they can get it right. Peloton type VR. It's an updated version of last year's game. That makes sense. But I do want to get the Zwift if you know your cycling stuff. They need gloves for VR. Yes, DJ, I can't believe that the gloves don't already exist. Like the whole what you could do with each finger. I mean, when I'm using a controller in VR, I love how the 2 buttons operate your hands to an extent. But why is it not 5? Why is it not 5 fingers? You know, I mean, we're getting there. Give it time. Give it all time, you guys. It's coming. It's coming, but it needs to be supported to get there. All right, looks like we are getting down to the end of the show. Wow. Hour and 6 minutes later. Not bad for dragging ass and doing a show, I guess, being that I still have a headache and I'm still really tired. But just talking about some rigs out there that people are posting on Reddit. This one here posted by U200 Platt. This is his first sim racing setup. Looks like he went the inexpensive route, but I'm always telling you guys, it doesn't take a lot. That's like an old original Playseat copy. Can't remember the brand of the ones who make this one. A little center post design with a Logitech wheel. Pick those up for $188. Pick that rig up for next to nothing, and you're racing. He said, oh, he bought it used, $100 used, and he bought it, was only used for 1 day. Oh, he bought it. The cost was $100 and was only used. Oh, so somebody bought this, put it together, and he got it off him for $100. And he says it's amazing in VR. I can't imagine he got the VR included. These 15-minute pit stops are the best. Devin, that's because they had GT Omega rigs. They're complete rigs, I believe, thrown in there. I am going to applaud you, Lawyer Forever, for building an 80-20 rig. I can see some side plates. I don't know where he picked those up or made them custom made, perhaps. Kind of copying and emulating the type of plate you would find on like a P1 chassis. And I'm always not laughing, but I'm always amused at to an extent, the success of the P1 chassis. It's an awesome chassis, but you can buy 80-20 and design your own and continue adapting, which you can still do with the P1 chassis as well. It's essentially the same type of assembly, but great looking rig there by you, Lawyer Forever. Here's another great looking rig. I can't even tell where things start and stop. He's got like a wind. Look at the way he did this wind machine. The fan is here, total computer case fan, blowing through a tube and then directed into his face, just like they do with the ducting on a real life car. This is not. What type of motion sim is this? That is not a D-box. That is a giant 4-post up and down, some kind of a decorated 80-20, like inserts put into the grooves, 80-20 rig. Amazing. He's got an AccuForce V2 wheel, HE Pro pedals, SRS sequential shifter, handbrake, 4 butt kickers, Oculus Rift, and SimWind. This is by Wajdidab. Anyway, that is a great looking rig. That's one we should all be emulating and trying to copy on our own personal rigs. And what was this? I didn't even get a chance to watch the video, but I did get this sent in to me. And our very own Mitchie Hoyer of Avid Chronic Racing does coaching. So here's a video of their video. And this is posted by Malcolm Dozer. And it's talking what a 45 euro an hour sim racing consultant gets you. And so anyway, what I'm telling you guys is I just thought about it. There is coaching out there. I've done coaching. You know, a lot of aliens will do some coaching. If you want to improve your sim racing, we always talk about ways you can improve. You can always be your own coach, analyze your own driving, and be hypercritical of yourself and make sure that you hold yourself accountable. It's a DIY SF100 motion rig. Plans are on the net. Thank you, Cranky. Thank you very much. Yeah, Devin, I don't think they're that big, though. I don't think the 6-inch D-box pistons are that big. Those things were monsters. It looks like a cheap version of a D-box, says Brandon. So anyway, there's a video there from Mitchie Hoyer. And then, okay, this is what I really want to get to. And I wish I had a bigger screenshot. I wish I had something better to show. You can find the videos because they are streamed over the weekend. Thank you, Brandon, for doing that. But the Rick Motec Simpit endurance team, they conquered Nürburgring. And I say conquered because it was not an easy day. It's never an easy day at Nürburgring. 24 hours of there is madness. And I want to congratulate Joe Antonio, David Grunnell, James Dowling, Brian Ostrike, Michael Reutman, and Stan Donnet on hanging in there. They had a rough day. They had a few big moments. They had a few high sides resulting in 20 minutes of towing and things like that. They're all the way back into well into the 30th and back position. And they just had that do not quit attitude and actually recovered and brought the car all the way back into 14th position, which is an amazing, amazing effort by those guys. And I want to congratulate you. Job well done. And way to represent Rick Motec, way to represent the Simpit, way to hang in there, and you got my back because I wasn't able to make the race. So I really appreciate the work that you guys put in. I know it wasn't easy. This was maybe the hardest. This is maybe the hardest that you're ever going to work for an endurance race running at Nürburgring like that. So I really appreciate what you did, and congratulations once again on a job well done. And then to finish today's show off, I have 2 more things. Number 1, tonight is Mazda Mondays with Devin Booth. And where are you guys? You guys are at Suzuka tonight. And I heard a little bird told me that Devin Booth sucks at Suzuka. So if you want a shot to beat up on Devin Booth during his own stream, that's always fun. Hang out for Mazda Mondays on iRacing tonight with Devin Booth. And you can do that on iRacing. It should be a good time. That's this evening. I think they start at about 6 o'clock. Stream starts at about 7-ish, something like that. And then I did mention earlier, but I'm going to mention it one more time. This Friday, and unfortunately I'm going to miss the opener because I'll be coming home from Charlotte. But we do have the Simpit Truck Series, and we are starting that up this Friday night. It's going to be a 6-race season. Let's see here. Let me try to pull up the season and get the schedule. Here's the 2019. It's going to be starting this Friday, Kansas, followed by Charlotte. Hey, I'm going to be in Charlotte on May 24th, so they're not every week. We're kind of emulating the real-life truck series. Texas Motor Speedway on June 7th, June 14th, Iowa, and then on to Chicagoland and Kentucky. 6-race season. Not asking a lot of commitment. Should be pretty easy. Races are going to be 60 or 80 laps, depending on length. 60 at the 1.5 mile and 80 at the .88 Iowa Speedway. So if you want to get involved on that, make sure you're on the list. Last season, if you were registered, you're already in. All you have to do is look for that under the league session at 4:40 is when the rooms will open up next on this Friday. And you have a few days if you want to join. Just send an invite. Look up the Simpit 2019 Truck Series on iRacing League section and register for it, and I will get you going on that as well. So should be fun. Should be some fun racing. And on the races that I can attend, I will be streaming them from my end for sure. So anyway, that is going to do it for today's show. Once again, congratulations to you guys, the Rick Motec Simpit Endurance team. Really, really good job. I wish I could sing a song. It's not a birthday. I can't sing you guys happy birthday. But if I had a song that was appropriate, I would sing it for you because I'm so proud of you guys. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with the really weird schedule that we've had or are having over this week with me gone and me now leaving town again on Wednesday. I'm sorry for that. If I can, I'll stream something on the Facebook page from Charlotte. So again, like we talked about at the very beginning, the Simpit on Facebook. When I'm live right now, as of right now, I'm being live on Facebook. So this whole weekend, I did about 5 different videos, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show. And if I can, I'll stream something from Charlotte. But, you know, I am there on their dollar. I'm not there for my show, so to speak. I'm there to give my services to them. Oh, look at that. There's one of our, we got more. I believe that was a Joa Antonio special right there, speaking of Bruce Willis. That's the Die Hard meme that used to exist. I love these quotes that go with them. F you, Windows 10, F you to hell. Or today's is just as priceless, and that coming to us from Izzy, but F Silverstone. So classic. So classic. Thank you guys so much for being part of the show. Thank you for being the pit crew and just being here to BS sim racing every day. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.